Hello and welcome to another video. Today I have a full Junkrat breakdown. Junkrat is a very powerful defense hero that can be used on both defense and offense, though he mainly shines when defending. Junkrat's primary weapon is the frag launcher. The frag launcher launches a grenade in an arc that detonates when impacting an enemy or bouncing after 3 times. It does 120 damage per shot and can be fired 1.6 times each second, giving up to 200 DPS. You can fire it 5 times before needing to reload, which takes about 1.5 seconds. The grenades have a 2-meter radius in which it can damage enemies. The further away they are from the center, the less damage they'll take. If it's a direct hit, it'll be the full 120. The frag launcher allows Junkrat to arc shots over buildings and walls and other obstacles, giving Junkrat full safety when firing. And not only is the frag launcher very powerful, it's an excellent zoning tool. Litter the objective with grenades and the other team will struggle to stay on it, and this gives Junkrat a very effective role on King of the Hill game types as well as just the capture and payload ones. He's also the king of doorways. Continuously shoot through a doorway or a choke point and that route is virtually unusable for the other team. His first ability is the Steel Trap. The Steel Trap has a very short arc when thrown and covers a 1-meter radius. When you throw it down, it will take half a second to arm, so be careful if there's an enemy rushing you because they can get over it before it arms, specifically Reinhardt charging. If you can place it down in time though, Reinhardt charging will get stuck in it, so it's a good way to defend yourself against that. Enemies that get trapped take an instant 80 damage and are stuck in place for 3 seconds. Once placed, the 10-second cooldown begins instantly, so always try and have the Steel Trap placed at all times. The Steel Trap is best used on capture points or in doorways, covering your flank to trap flanking characters. Since that's kind of Junkrat's job as well, Torbjorn is an excellent anti-flanker, so is Junkrat because of the Steel Trap. The Steel Trap is hard to see when it's on the enemy team, but easy to see when it's on your own team, so you can distinguish between which ones are safe and which ones aren't. If a trap is spotted and destroyed, you'll get notified with it destroyed, so even if you don't trap the flanker, you'll know when one is coming. Be careful though, because Reaper can Wraithform past it, Tracer can blink over it, that kind of thing, so they can flank you without you knowing. Be careful of that, but generally they will destroy it if they see it. Next is the Concussion Mine, which has a fairly far arc when thrown and needs to be detonated manually. Concussion Mine deals an instant 120 damage to anyone in its 3-meter radius. Even if they're at the very edge of the radius, they will take the full 120 damage and not reduce damage like other explosions, so its damage output is very reliable. It's best used to finish off close-ranged enemies reliably or comboed with the Steel Trap for an instant 200 damage, allowing you to insta-kill many heroes that get caught. Place the mine close to the trap but not directly on top of it. Enemies can see the mine clearly, unlike the Steel Trap, so try and hide it around the doorway on the roof. Just make sure that it's within the 3-meter radius. The Concussion Mine deals 0 self-damage, but instead causes massive knockback to both you and enemies. You can use this to launch yourself into advantageous positions or get enemy heroes that are close to you away from you. Just don't knock an ulting Reaper into the bulk of your team. I've seen that happen way too much. The charge time is 8 seconds and begins the moment you throw the mine, just like the Steel Trap. So I recommend having one placed at all times, either on the ground near the platform which you're using to shoot your frag launcher, so if you do get a flanker you can easily escape, or in combo with the Steel Trap in a nearby doorway. Junkrat's ult is the Riptire. Riptire has 100 health, deals 600 damage, lasts up to 10 seconds and has a radius of 10 meters. The further away the enemy is from the center of the explosion, the less damage it will take, just like normal explosions, so do be careful when attacking a Roadhog. You need to basically be inside the Roadhog when detonating the Riptire, otherwise he won't die. Driving against low walls and jumping allows you to climb it and over the top. This is very good to sneak up on teams. When sending in a Riptire, you yourself are left vulnerable, so try and place a Steel Trap nearby. Just don't be in line of sight of it for obvious reasons, and it'll give you a little bit of extra time if somebody comes hunting for you. If you do die, then you can still control the Riptire, but again, you don't particularly want to die. Because the Riptide can be destroyed, it is best to attack enemies from above. If you can't do that, then attack the group from below, and if you can't do that, come from the sides, and then lastly the front. Try to avoid that because the tire is very easily destroyed. A single fire shot will destroy it, a single Roadhog shot will destroy it, a single fire strike will destroy it. Be careful of that. Zara's Surge can suck it in, and it can be stunned with Roadhog's Chain Hook as well. Lastly, Junkrat has a passive ability named Total Mayhem. Upon each death, he drops 5 grenades that deal 660 damage each, dealing a total of 300 damage. If you know you're about to die, try and get as close to your killer as you can, so Total Mayhem finishes them off after death. Be careful, it does take about a second for them to detonate, so they can still get away. Total Mayhem can also be used offensively, but only as a last resort. Rush into a group of enemies. This is easily done by blasting yourself into the sky with your mine and then landing within the group. Try and trap someone with your trap and just shoot your frag grenades around until you die. And anyone still close to you or caught in the trap will likely die or take heavy damage if they are, say, a Bastion or a tank, but only use this as a last resort. Because of the indirect fire of Junkrat, he's great at countering stationary setups such as Tourbillon and Bastion. This is his use for when using him on offense. Because of his very high DPS, he can melt Reinhardt's shields, or just bounce the grenades behind the shield, dealing damage to everyone hiding behind it, or Reinhardt himself. The biggest counter to Junkrat is Farah, but she isn't immune. If you can land one shot from the frag launch into the sky, you're good to go. Just lob the mine up and detonate it for an easy kill. It is very tough to do, but not impossible. Also, because of heroes that take 3 shots, because they have over 240 hit points, landing accurate frags in a 1v1 fight can be tough, so heroes that do take these 3 shots are Bastion, Reaper and Mei are very difficult. Bastion not so much because he's big and slow, but especially Reaper and Mei. They are strong in close range and take 3 shots, as well as having each having a healing or escape method. So it's best to use a pre-placed mine to get out, or panic throwing one on the ground to escape as well. This has been my guide to Junkrat. If you've got any further questions on the character, or any questions about the matchups that I listed on screen, be sure to ask that in the comments, and if you have a request for a certain character, then be sure to say so in the comments as well. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.